DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Top Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-2537 and get a free demo.
We are right here, right now.
Ooh.
It is Tuesday. Without tacos. We didn't bring tacos again. We apologize. We thought about tacos once.
Well, I don't know, man. Nobody said anything about tacos. I could have made it happen.
You could have. You've got probably a connection that could make some really awesome.
I live in an urban area. We can have tacos.
Things can happen there.
Yeah.
Well, good evening. Welcome, everyone, to our show tonight. We're going to be doing just one show. It's been kind of a chaotic day. One show. And typically we're doing a couple of different things, and I didn't get a chance to put things together, and we'll talk about that. So I checked with Brian, and he's like, we'll do one and be on our way, because I've got a lot of stuff to do yet tonight.
I don't mean to interrupt you, John, but this is the last show we're going to do before Halloween, right?
It is.
So I wanted to, because I don't go anywhere for Halloween. I'm going to hand out treats and stuff, but I wanted to do like a Halloween costume. So
yeah.
Put something together real quick. And okay, ready for this?
I am.
If you can guess my Halloween costume, you I don't know, win my respect.
Yeah,
I am the king of obscure Halloween costumes. So
okay. So we're not going to say anything because we're going to let the chat room catch up. So show us what it is.
Okay. See if you can guess.
We're watching.
There we go. Happy Halloween to you.
Okay.
Continue with the show. Does anybody know who I am for Halloween?
Okay, put your thoughts of who Brian is in, and I've got a couple of ideas, but I've got to think about this a little bit.
Better without the headphones. Here, wait.
Okay. Now we had a guess of David Bowie.
The obscure Halloween costume thing.
Yeah, we had our first guess of David Bowie.
No, it's not David Bowie.
Okay, so we'll continue, guys. You can do guesses. Throw your guesses in there. So
I went out and bought these glasses specifically for this. I'll probably do this on Halloween. No one will know what it means, but I'm doing it because it makes me feel good.
Bono is another guess.
No, not Bono.
So that brings up an interesting. If you were going, what is the front porch for Halloween?
Falco, he got it. Daniel got it. I'm Falco.
Falco.
He got it. I'm Falco for Halloween this year.
Oh, and they've got all sorts of other. Now they're going to come out.
You knew. That is so cool. You knew. I'm Falco. Thank you. All right. Somebody guessed that you win.
That is awesome, Daniel.
I don't know what you win, but Daniel, you get something. I am Falco. If you want the reference point to that, look at the Falco Dear Commissar music video. That's who I am tonight. I am Falco. Thank you.
Oh, that didn't go very long. That was like fourth or fifth guess.
That was good. We have someone who's probably from Europe. Maybe they're German or Austrian or Danish or something. That's why they know.
That or they're from like East Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's close enough, man. Somebody's having a birthday tonight. There's always a birthday. We love birthdays. Birthdays are awesome.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thanks for being with us tonight. So you mentioned Halloween.
Yes.
What does the BSR household do when it comes to treats and such and the front porch? Do you guys head out there? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm going to go out there this year. Last year I didn't because I was doing a wedding. That was Carlos and Ramon Lasade Vega's wedding. The year before that, yeah, I was on the porch. I'll sit out there with treats because I enjoy it. I like watching the kids and stuff. My Fog Fury Jets have been on loan to a club for way too long. I'm going to contact him tomorrow and see if I can get my Jets back. If not, I'm going to buy a new pair and get them express shipped because I want Fog Fury Jets on my porch for Halloween. Got a bubble machine going, got black lights going.
Ooh.
I got a cool thing I want to do that I came up with while I was watching the movie Zombieland early this morning before I went to bed. Gave me a great idea, and I'm gonna go with that. And hopefully someone gets another obscure reference that not a lot of people are gonna get, but somebody will get, and they'll think it's great. I don't know if Daniel thought my Falco costume was great, but I got something I'm going to do at the house that's going to be something I don't know why it never occurred to me to do, but I'm going to do it as part of our 2016 Halloween extravaganza, because we love doing it. Blanca decorates, I do lighting. It's fun. And usually, yeah, we'll sit out there with the treat bowl and let everybody pick something. But I think I'm going to go to the wholesale club and get full-size candy bars this year. I think I'm going to go for it.
Oh wow, you're gonna really you'll be the cool house.
Yeah, I think we're going to be the cool house.
How many kids do you think you have to roll through on a Halloween?
See, it depends. We have a problem because, and I'm like posing as Falco as I'm doing this, just because I've got the Falco thing going on. I can see myself something. So I'm doing that, hey man, I want to buy some stuff. Anyhow. The problem is that I live on a major highway. So I'm on Highway 32. It's Kinnick Avenue, Milwaukee. It's the same thing that is Lakeshore Drive in Chicago.
Okay.
Right there on the lake. So I'm a main drag. And what the kids like to do is stay off the main drag and go behind our house into the more residential area.
Gotcha.
And trick or treat. But I really try to draw attention to our place. And if you've ever seen a picture of my house on Halloween, you know that we do a pretty good job at that.
Yes.
Although the thing is, Blanca, all right. See, I'm the guy who wants to make it cool. I want to make it cool. I want to make it like, wow, and hey, that's neat. And oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's beautiful. Blanca wants to make it gory and scary and creepy. and that's really cool, but it freaks out all the kids. The little kids don't want to come because it's too spooky. So I thought, well, maybe if I had bubbles this year, that kids like bubbles,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing UV bubbles. I'm going to put a UV cob cannon in the yard. Because if I do it on the porch, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow bubbles all over the place. And maybe the kids say, oh, look, bubbles. Let's go do the bubbles.
Yeah.
And people ignore the creepy stuff that Blanca put up.
That's so funny.
See, like I have to watch chick flicks by myself because she won't do it. She is the first one to watch the Jason Statham movie that comes out. She's the first. Furious 7's out. Let's go see it at the theater. I'm like, really? Okay. I'm the one who has to watch the Jennifer Aniston flicks by myself. So it's weird. And I make her turn the TV down for the broadcast. Otherwise, all you'd hear is machine guns. Because that's all she watches. She's that way. It's like, I don't know. It's like one of those movies where they flip the brain around. That's what happened with our taste and that kind of thing. So yeah. I would put out like cute, quaint scarecrows and maybe like a monster that was a smiley face, Frankenstein smiling or something. I would do that. She does the creepy gore,
Things.
The monster, the hand, the zombie.
Pieces of body around the yard and such.
Yeah, and she's all about having the creepy sounds and the big scare, So anyway, that's my rant on that, I guess. But so that's where we're at.
So that means next Monday night, because of it being Halloween, that we won't have any shows. DJN TV will be off Monday, and we'll be on Tuesday again next week. And Brian, you're going to have a guest. Let's talk a little bit about who will be with you Tuesday, because I won't be with you guys for a period of time once again here. But let's talk about next Tuesday.
It won't be Falco. He's dead.
Unless
he died in Costa Rica back in the
makes
90s.
an appearance through you. You're channeling.
He is right now.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna bring Wavy Davy in, who is a very old friend of mine. We've known each other for probably between 25 and 30 years. Great DJ, great friend. He does a lot of the voice drops that you hear, when you listen to the radio. I don't know. You're listening to that hit song. That yeah. He does it really well. He's got a great voice for it. So he's going to come in and join me in the studio, and we're going to talk about all things DJ. He's a wedding DJ, mobile DJ, just like me. But but he does this as well. And we might even have some cool drops to share with you. So that's next Tuesday. What are we calling it? The Brian S. Red Show?
Yeah, but it will be another episode of the Brian S. Red Show. Yeah.
Featuring with special guest David Brown, aka Wavy Davy B. So that's next Tuesday at 9 Central.
Yes, 10 o'clock Eastern.
10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, 6 Pacific. I don't know.
7. Yeah, we're at 9.
7, yeah, 7.
Yeah. DJ Penguin asked about my eyes. That's what's I've got. For those of you who don't know, I've had 3 surgeries on my left eye so far. Trying to get it. I had a retina tear in both eyes. Left eye started. Went to the retina specialist after I've had surgery, and the cataract surgery in the left eye. It's kind of still foggy, but I can see, but I can't read. And a lot of what I do is reading. So that's going to be a hang up. But we went to the retina specialist today, and the right eye hadn't changed from the very first exam he gave me through the time frames, which went up to about 2 weeks ago. From 2 weeks ago to today, the tear has basically doubled in size. Now I've gone from it being a fairly easy fix to it's going to be a more elaborate fix, and they've got to do the next more severe repair, and it had to be moved immediately, which Thursday morning at 7 o'clock or whatever it is, Lori and I will be headed down to the next surgery on my right eye. So it's going to be a pain because I won't be able to, you can be messaging me and emailing me, and I'll be able to take your phone calls, but I won't be able to see to message you guys back or anything to that effect. So not looking forward to that side of it, but we'll get it done. And if everything works out, it'll be hopefully by NAM time, I'll be able to see. May not be able to make NAM via airplane. I might have to, planes and trains, or I should say trains and automobiles to get there, but we'll see what happens.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. You're going to be fine. This is being addressed early. You've caught it. It's just a little bit of a setback, and it sucks you're not going to be able to do the stuff that you want to do right now.
Yeah. That's the big thing is you can't do what we've been all excited and such, but this has to get done, because if I don't, then we get into the problem area where there's permanent damage and such. So we will get there.
Your mama warned you about that kind of stuff, John. You should have listened.
She did, but it was so much fun.
Of course.
That's what all of the. No, I'm kidding.
It's terrible, I know.
Yeah, that's right. We should go.
I have brain damage. My filter is damaged.
Yeah.
I have an excuse to just blurt things out.
We could say things.
Finally, I have an excuse.
We could just say things. So yeah, that'll be what I'm up to the next couple of weeks, and we'll see how things go and such, and be back when I can. So Brian, one of the things I've been thinking about here is and this is going to be looking at a lot of the business world and even some of these businesses that are starting, and it seems that there's a trend, and I'm going to use Pokemon Go as an example. You've got businesses who are coming out of somewhat nowhere, and they will have their moment in the sun, like Pokemon Go, the company there, Niantic or whoever they are or whatever. I don't know what the company is, making a couple $1 million a day. They were nowhere July 4th, 2016, huge, and they'll probably be gone within a few months, most likely.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that even in our small community where you have businesses where they start and they're there for maybe a 6-month, 2-year time frame. Maybe a Whole Foods or a farmer's market type of thing opens, and they do well for this window. There was a shop that opened up that was really featuring foods that would be into that Atkins diet, and it got me to think is that for most DJs that we've been around for 4 or 5 years, we're probably doing better than 80% of the businesses out there.
Yeah,
and that just it kind of blew my mind a little bit that here we as DJs who don't run businesses that well most of the time.
Then that's very true. That's a very valid criticism of the DJ industry generally as a whole, that we do not run our business well. And
yet we still outlast so many. A beautiful restaurant opened up in a neighboring town here, and I was looking at the building today, and it's like, gosh, that was such a fabulous. It was beautiful to go into, and it was this, that, and the other thing. And it lasted for about 9 months. They had really, really good for the first 6 months, and then it was like, okay, the shine is off, and it was ghost town for 3 months, and they closed the doors.
Right. No, I mean, there's a lot of flash in the pan things like that. And even if you look at trends in our business, you see this sometimes.
Yep.
Where I think a lot of people have said that the photo booth thing is kind of like, it's not what it used to be. Like when you first saw photo booth, people were getting $2,000 for this thing, or better. The most I ever got for photo booth was 15, and that was a corporate gig in Chicago when we had green screen. They could afford it. We gave good service, but I think that now, I mean, if we're getting 6, that's fine. That's no problem. Gotten more. Got $750 last booth I did.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on the level of customer service they want. So yeah, I mean, there's a shelf life to.
Good way to say it. To
a lot of the products and services out there for just people in general, and you also have to understand that I mean, geez. See, when I was young, I mean, I can remember watching a movie, and when I say young, I mean like tiny, in the single digits. I can remember watching brand new movies that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars is an exception. Star Wars is a relatively well-paced film. However, my daughter cannot sit still for it to this day. It's not paced fast enough for her.
Yes.
And then I remember when music videos hit. I mean, it was flash, 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 flash. And the videos, even if they weren't incredibly visually engaging, they were only 3.5 minutes long. And my entire generation tuned out of everything and watched music videos.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't watching TV shows. That came back later. That came back with 901-210, and later in the late 80s, that kind of came back into fashion. But I mean, aside from the Cosby Show and like Family Ties and maybe Knight Rider, I mean, what was anybody watching? They were watching MTV. That's what my generation was doing.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Short attention span stuff. So you roll that into just the general attitude of people. They have a short attention span on things, and they tend to dive in and consume. It's kind of like if somebody set the table and there was several things on that table you could choose from. There was chicken, turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, and somebody just for some reason filled their plate full of mashed potatoes and just ate mashed potatoes. And then they just burnt out. I don't want any more mashed potatoes.
Yep.
For the foreseeable future, I'm not going to ask for mashed potatoes. It's almost kind of like what the culture does. They consume, just inhale it, and then they're done with it. They don't do it in doses. They indulge. Binge watching. Perfect example.
Oh, for sure.
Nobody wants to actually discipline themselves to sit down Sunday night at 8:00 and watch a show. They want to watch it all at once.
Can I watch the whole series?
And once they've watched it, sometimes they're done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. So I think it's an attention span thing. It's also a consumption thing, an overconsumption thing, an oversaturation. Pardon, an oversaturation thing. When was the first time you saw something that was completely oversaturated that you can remember that just blew up on itself?
Boy, oh boy, there's so many little things. Probably talking businesses.
Or just trends, or
I want to kind of stick with businesses, because we saw this, and it was these small mom and pop coffee shops in these 5,000 and under communities that people could go and they could pop up these little coffee shops, and all of a sudden within about 6 months there were 6 of them that opened, were a coffee shop, and they do soup and sandwich. These trends for that to be hot they popped up, and they all had their little audiences. And I think there's one in that community today, because it was something there and everyone got into it, and everyone was in those shops. They were full for a period of time. But as you say, the people binged on it,
mm-hmm.
and they got to the point, it's like, wow, this is getting to be expensive, and it's not. I'm
going to roll this. I'm going to roll this into two things very cleverly. Disco in the USA imploded because of oversaturation.
Oh, yep, very much so.
And we're not only talking about music on the radio. We're talking about discotheques. We're talking about fashion. We're talking about a lifestyle completely just self-destructed because of oversaturation.
I'd say country music did the same thing because it was.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And even let's go back to karaoke when it came out, and it was in every bar.
Yes. And I'm impressed that you said karaoke.
I've been practicing. I stand in front of the mirror and practice it 5 times every day.
I caught that. Nice going. Nice job. Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, that was the hot thing. I know Carl Decker, who was at Pioneer, he was kind of the pioneer of this. He was the one who brought out the Laserdisc and the concept from Japan of karaoke to the US. And that was big business. Huge.
Yeah, very much so.
Now it's like, I mean, even 10 years ago, it was like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're lucky to get $200 at a bar on a night, to do this stuff in a lot of places.
David, what I was referring to with the country is back in the 90s, mid 90s, it went from virtually nothing in the early 90s, where it just imploded in that 91, probably 92, 93, 94. And there was so many, every bar had a country night. And there was, Gatlin's opened up at the Mall of America, and there were different bars, and everyone had a country night. And it seemed like within about 6 months, it went from being this hot thing that they were teaching, line dance lessons. They were doing it 6 nights a week, and they had 4 different lessons going each night, and all these different things, to where it just went to a screeching halt because everybody was doing it, everyone was offering it, and it just lost its luster. What
lesson do you think we can learn from all of this?
One of them is someone mentioned this back, the adaptability, and
yes.
Gary Vanderchek is one who really talks about this a lot, and he uses, of course, his profanity when he explains it. But basically, that you can either be one that's out there trying to predict the future, or you can just establish yourself to be able to react and change very quickly. And I think for us in what we do, that's what we have to do, is we have to be able to react, because we can't be out there trying to predict. I mean, if you predict something 50% of the time accurately, that's really doing quite well. And that means that the other 50% that I'm failing and losing money, huge money in times. And I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this a little last week with my videos, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was last week. And I mentioned that I think there are a lot of people who jumped on this after Jonathan and I started it, and they went full steam ahead. They didn't get to where they wanted to go. They weren't getting viewers, and they dropped out because they just weren't feeling it, or the views weren't happening, or whatever the case might have been. And a lot of those guys tried to maybe more be. It was kind of the be everything to everybody thing, and that's where I think that this becomes a problem. If you try to be everything to everybody, if you try to provide a service, or if you have a business that tries to bring everyone in and please everyone, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
If you do anything where you specialize, and it might not be for everybody, but the people who do dig it, really dig it, I think then you have something. And I think when you look at these trendy type of things that pop up, they have mass appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the masses get tired of it. I think a select audience is going to be more tolerant of something that you're providing for them that is not necessarily what they're going to get from everybody else. But when you got a bunch of Me Too's popping up, which is what I call them.
Yep.
You get one coffee shop, and then Me Too, I have a coffee shop. Me Too, I have a coffee shop. It doesn't mean anything. You're just trying to pull in that same group of people, or that.
Yeah, you're fragmenting that.
Yeah.
Who's into that, and that's really makes it difficult. You mentioned earlier shelf life, and I love that phrase, because I'm thinking to myself, I've been last week, I took the end of the week off pretty much to go and clean the old DJ storage area. So I'm going through some of our very first lights and our first banners and our first sound systems, all these different components.
Right.
And looking at the number of things that are in there that were, one of which was a dance booth that we had. We made a kind of a go-go light booth stand where they would go in there, they could dance, and there were lights all around them. It was really kind of cool. It had a shelf life, and trying to explain it to my children that, yeah, we spent probably I think $500 to build this thing, and in the early 90s that was quite a bit, and that was without the lights.
Yeah,
I think it lasted for 2.5 years, and that was its shelf life. I have some beautiful trussing that I had purchased back when the Arch trussing first was coming out, and it was great. It was a Knight brand trussing. Loved it.
Knight, yeah.
And it had a shelf life. It worked for about 4 years, I believe it was, and then after that, it just its time had come and gone. So,
right,
it's interesting how they, our chocolate fountains, we've referred to that in the past.
Yeah,
where are those today?
Exactly, and you could even make the same argument for music video. I mean, this was a really hot ticket at one point in time. Now, of course, there are people who like it. I'm doing a music video gig, a VJ gig on New Year's. I do it every year. But it's not something I can do every week. Yeah. And it's not something that every audience is going to not only appreciate, but even want to see. They don't care. But there was a time when that was the absolute hottest thing you could do.
Oh, for sure.
Even with, VHS and SVHS way back. Going into a club, if they were spinning video, they almost had to spin video or have the option of spinning video, one or the other. And now, who cares? Now they'd rather hear a mix. Some places want to actually see the DJ mixing, kind of like they used to, which isn't very interesting when you're doing music video, usually. So, or as interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people do a wonderful job with it, and I've seen people do really cool things like Electronic, but it can be a performance piece, but typically it's not. It was a gimmicky thing for a minute, and now it's like, yeah, it's going to work some places, but not all places.
I think that's a good point because, and I've actually been finding that with some of my weddings this year, I've had couples that are like, yeah, we're kind of over the music video thing, and asked not to do it. And next year, I don't believe any of my weddings, and it's not that I'm charging, I've got, none of them I don't think are having music videos, which doesn't do well because I own all the gear. But in a couple of them, we're bringing the screens in because they want to do their slideshow. But they're like, during the dance, I'd rather not have the music videos going. So the way around that, it's like, okay, what are your thoughts about having a live camera on the crowd when people are dancing? Right. And then when we're not, we can put up your monogram. Oh my God, I love that idea.
Repurposing it.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeffrey Kwan, in fact, he shared a video on my page today where, and I did not come up with this. I mean, there have been videos floating around on this for a long time, but I did the Halloween projection thing. On my curtains and made it look like people or zombies were walking around inside or whatever. He saw that and he took that concept and he brought it into a school dance. So instead of music videos playing, it's regular music playing, but now there's decorative visuals going on where maybe normally there would have been music video. It's something to look at, but it's not particularly the music video, and that's okay. So he got creative. He brought in the screens and the projectors, but he did something different with them. So we can still charge for the screens and projectors.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I don't. It's not a money situation that you charge. We charge so much more. I'm charging the same if I'm bringing them or not in most cases, unless it was something unusual. But the idea of being able to meet what this millennial generation, these younger people, when they want to be the center of attention and the star of the show.
Yeah.
Okay, I can make you the star of the show. How about if I have a webcam, in essence, that's going to follow you around the floor? And, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So, I remember I used to want to put a camera on an oscillator, just panning back and forth. and I did. That was my big dream in like the mid-'90s. Wow, if I could figure out how to do this. and then like hang even some 13-inch tube televisions from my trussing so people could see this, that would be really cool. Because a projector is science fiction for my budget.
Yeah.
Back then that was how I was thinking about
it. For sure. Yeah, because our first 600 lumen projector, which we thought was, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I believe we paid almost $1,000 for it. And that back in the, that was huge money.
Yeah.
But boy, at 600 lumens, we thought we had something there.
Yeah.
And then
of course.
And then we got the Panasonic, and I remember that was $3,199 is what we paid for that one. But we got it via the internet, which meant that we didn't have to pay tax on it. So.
All right.
But I paid the state use tax on it.
Of course.
Yeah, because that's what you do.
Sales. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, it's been something I've been kind of looking at, because for some of you, you've heard me asking questions or saw me asking questions about smaller towns and bringing businesses into the smaller towns, and I've really been spending a lot of time with that, and then you start observing what's going on in the industry and
all that. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. That was. Yeah.
I've got Tourette's.
No, that's good.
Blurt things out. No, I was just, it's that kind of thing that I call like, getting out of the matrix. You're like, if you ever seen the movie The Matrix, you're in the matrix, you're seeing trees and people or whatever. And then you get out of the matrix and you see a screen with all this monochrome stuff streaming on it. But eventually using people and cars or whatever, what you're doing is you're looking at the matrix through the monitor. You're seeing it, you're getting it, you're understanding it. You're able to relate whatever, doesn't matter what kind of business it is or what kind of trend it is, you're able to somehow relate it to what you're doing. And a lot of people can't do that. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous. So of course they can't. No, a lot of people can't do that.
Yep, for sure.
So that's cool that you're doing it. Yeah.
And then that's something that I sometimes you take that for granted, especially when you're a single system operator and you're thinking everyone can do what I should be able to hire, bring DJs in and teach them how to do this and do this. There's so many aspects of what we do, whether it's as a business owner or a performer or even as a parent, that it's like, not everyone can communicate well and handle their children and be a good parent. Not everyone can be a good entertainer. They may have the desire, but they may not have that little something that will make them a super entertainer or a good quality entertainer. They're just always going to be very average because that's just not where their gifts fall.
It goes back to empathy. I mean, we need to understand that other people don't think the same way we do. Mm-hmm. So, you can look at it a couple different ways. You can say, oh yeah, John thinks pretty highly of himself as an entertainer and as a father. No, he doesn't. He knows who he is, and he maybe at one time may have struggled with why other people weren't like that until he realized, hey, not everybody has the same strengths and weaknesses. That's empathy. That's not sympathy. It's empathy. He understands that there are things that he's not good at that other people are good at.
Very much so.
So it's all a part of being a grown up.
Yeah, it really is. It is. And especially in the DJ industry, that there, as you learn, what I do well and what I'm not so good at. And as we're networking with more DJs, it's really cool because now I can say, you know what? I'm not that good at putting together a huge show and really making this huge thing. I'm good at this aspect. So now I have people. And there's nothing better than to have people that you can say, hey, you know what? For this event, I need to have this big sound system. Can I have you come in and do this? And then I'll do my side, and you can bring this sound system and this light show in and make it awesome and make it work.
Right. Yeah.
And that's so big. Going away from the, oh yeah, I can do that. I've done that millions of times. Okay. How do you guys do that? What do I need to, do to be able to handle 1,000 kids? Yeah.
One of the most amazing things that I think that I've done as a DJ, because, I realize that I have some kind of talent with this. And when I was younger, I used to get kind of a big head about it, but then I would work with other people and see what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of things they did. Maybe I would look at it and say, what are they doing that for? But they do those few things that I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And I would adapt that and I would take that and run with it and do something with it. So I don't know, man. I like this conversation's gone. I know a lot of different places, but it all comes down to being unique and not being kind of, what word am I looking for? Homogenous. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think so. I think that being unique and focusing on, we're getting back to that unique selling position, or that whole concept is that, and I get, you guys put things in the chat, and you're talking about, what you do and what separates you from, the other DJs in your market. And I'd challenge you guys to really look at what you are visualizing as making you unique in your market. And then kind of just think about, how long would it take for anyone else to be able to do that same thing?
Right.
And what got me thinking about that is, back, I mentioned that trussing, and I used to be the guy who's like, oh yeah, I got this trussing and I could put up 1 million lights, and this is, it only took one kid with a credit card to match my light show, and I was done.
Sure.
Because it wasn't truly, specifically unique to me.
It's gimmicky. I mean, but what's truly unique is your performance and your approach to how you MC an event, what tracks you play, what order you play them in, and quite frankly, even how you set up that truss.
Yeah.
Those are things that can put you apart. So yeah, just buying a trussing system with the exact, and I've told people this before, and this isn't my ego talking, this is my experience talking. And just to be clear, I would be willing, and I really would be willing, to hand someone all of my stuff, my entire music library, all of my light shows, and my sound systems, and even my vehicles to haul the stuff around, and hell, I'll even give you my clients. You still can't be me. You can't do it.
No.
You can live here if you want. I got a spare room. You can't do it. Only I can be me.
Yeah.
But only you can be you. And that type of attitude is a big saving grace, I feel like, in our industry. If you're a me too, you don't count. You really don't. But if you're in this because you do have some real passion about it, and you feel like you really do have something to bring to the table, and you bring what you've got, and you're always trying to improve, man, nobody can beat you. Keep doing what you're doing. And there's a reason you're still here.
We talked about country music earlier, and you mentioned, the being you. And there's one entertainer in our vicinity here who is a country DJ, and he still is probably 90% country music.
You mentioned him recently. Yeah.
And what's cool about him is that he doesn't really care what other people think. He is, and he's good at what he does, but he has so much fun and so much energy and so much, you mentioned passion, that's what brought me back. So much passion for what he does as a country entertainer that it's really just kind of infectious. You just can't help but to catch this bug this guy's got. And even if you're not a country music fan, you're going to still like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good song. And wow, and you just find yourself being drawn into it. And that's, I think, something that we just kind of overlook sometimes, is that just our energy and passion for whatever we're doing can really set us apart from others in that.
And it shows. It really does show. I'll be honest, and I'll make a confession right here. Sometimes some of the clients that I'm getting right now, they shouldn't be my clients. I'm not the right DJ for them. And when I get, and a lot of this is agency stuff, because they just kind of, okay, client and vendor, here you go, have it. There's no real evaluation process. It's a sales process. It's not a true human evaluation process. And I end up with jobs that really should have gone to someone else. I'm not the guy for it. And if I have too many of these jobs in a row, I start questioning whether I should still be doing this.
No, I believe it.
And then I go, whoa, wait a minute. No, you can still do it. You just had to morph into someone else, or try to morph into somebody else to do those jobs.
Yeah.
And so I feel it. it affects me in a lot of ways. I still get paid. The client's still happy, but spiritually, I feel like I've robbed myself of something.
Oh, I believe that.
I'm not capable of something else, or they really don't appreciate what I can really bring to the table. They want something different. They don't want what I can do. They want this other thing, their idea. Like, maybe my card's up, No, I don't think so. I'm just working with the wrong people.
And then after you've had a couple of those, and then you get into an event where you've got you're with the right client and you've got the right crowd that it's like, and I had that a couple of times this past summer as I did a couple of events and I came home and, I'm telling Lori that, boy, I'm not, if I don't book anything for 2017, I'm good with that. And then you have that wedding that you didn't think it was, you think, oh, it's probably not going to be, but as you start working with them, they're like, wow, this is really cool, a cool couple. And as you get there and you're meeting with a wedding party, it's like, these are really fun folks and the guests are fun. And the next thing you know, you're having a great night that at the end of the night, you're like, yes, this is why I do what I do.
So somebody's asking about agency in here. Please search my channel for that answer. I've answered this so many times. I've got videos up on this. Search my channel about agencies, DJ agencies, and you'll get the answers to that. But no, you're right. I mean, I've had school gigs within the last 6 months. And I don't like schools. I don't like groups of kids like that. But I've ended up in schools for whatever reason. And it's been a spiritual thing. It wasn't just a gig. It was uplifting. It was like church. It was amazing. So no, it was. I mean, it was like church where I felt spiritually just uplifted.
Yeah.
And I felt good about myself. And I felt good about my audience. And everything was just beautiful. And I just clicked with high school kids.
Yeah.
I'm 45. I don't listen to the top 40. I clicked with high school kids. I was able to channel that because it was the right audience.
Yeah.
And it was the right client for me to be working with, opposed to just a number, trying to be everything to everybody and just going out there because it's another gig.
Yeah.
It was the right client for maybe the right DJ, a DJ that fit anyway. We'll just say it like that. So the right client for me. I hope I was the right DJ for them.
Sean has got a great question. What's the deal breaker before the deal breaker if you would to call an event off? And I'm assuming you mean that before booking it, that you basically turn it down. Because once I've committed, I'm not going to call something off unless there's a bounce check or something to that effect. But beforehand, some red flags for me when it comes to weddings. If I have if one of the first things they talk about when we're talking about what they're looking forward to for their night, if they talk about setting the record for number of kegs of beer they drink, that's probably a sign that it's not my type of event. If they hate their parents, for me, I just, from experience, if there's a lot of tension there, I can't create that emotion that I would like to be able to, as Big Daddy was talking last night, I'm going to make you laugh and I'm going to make you cry. And that's what we do, because, we're going to have those beautiful moments and we're going to have those fun moments. And probably the other one is if they've got some nasty, they want to hear, oh yeah, we've got this. We want to hear all of the unedited versions of these rap songs, and that's what we're going to be wanting to do. And we don't care if Grandma's there or not.
Yeah,
those are some, just off the top of my head, some deal breakers for me that would cause me to walk.
I think it's an expectation thing in general. So what do they want from a DJ? And if they're describing someone who's not me, then we shouldn't be doing this. And I will say, hey, look, I don't know if we're a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for this, and that's not really what I do. It's not that I can't do it. It's that there's probably someone out there who could do it better than me.
Yep.
I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, asking me to provide a service for them. And this was like on the kind of what I call the administration end of things. And I told him, I'm like, look, I make silly videos that people watch for free in my home. My lighting's crap. My camera angles aren't very good. I don't script anything. If you're looking for a polished professional anything, there are people out there who can do that for you. Can I do it? yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of money because I got to get the equipment to do it. It's going to be a struggle. But there are already people out there who can provide the service and do it well. I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
So just being honest about who you are and what your abilities are, and what you can and can't do and what your strengths and weaknesses are can help you evaluate your clients a little better, or your potential clients. And I have had contracts signed, and I've been speaking. It hasn't happened in a long time, but it has happened before, where we've been in the middle of planning things, and some of the things they want is some of the curveballs they're throwing at me, or I just look and say, you know what, maybe I'm just not the guy for this job. And every time I've done that, they've said, oh, no, we want you to do this. And I'll explain to them why I feel this way. And they tend to back off.
Yeah.
With some of these demands that maybe wouldn't make for what I would consider a successful event.
You just reminded me of the one time that was indeed the case. We didn't quite have the contract signed. We were meeting, and I mentioned this in past shows, where I was meeting with the bride and her parents, and her father called himself a self-proclaimed Jew, his words. And we had the contract. Mom and daughter looked at, they were headed in, and dad's like, yeah, can we do better than this? And it's no, and I used that. Maybe I'm just not the right DJ for you. And he knew that his daughter really loved what I could do, and mom really loved what I could do. And that's when he had apologized. He said, "I'm sorry. This is just what I do. I'm going to always argue, but yeah, using that phrase, maybe I'm just not the right DJ for you. If money is going to be the wanting to get a $100 knocked off the price tag is a big thing for you."
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that wasn't, I can't screw that up, which is the phrase.
Can't help myself.
Yeah, he can't help himself, but he mentioned the night of the event that I couldn't screw this up for my daughter. She wanted you, and we would have paid whatever it took. It's like, well, now you tell me.
And I've had plenty of clients or potential clients who have called me, and they have, kind of told me a little bit about their event and what they want. And right away, I know it's not a good match.
Yeah.
I know. And I'll give them an outrageous price. and they'll say, oh, well, we don't have a budget for that. And then based on what they're telling me, I will actually refer them to somebody who I think will work better for them.
Better fit for them.
I've done that.
Yep.
Like, I'm the sacrificial lamb on this. It's okay. I don't mind. I've done it in my life. Again, part of being an adult sometimes. I'll take one for the team. If I got to look bad, that's okay.
Yep, exactly.
I'm doing it for righteous reasons, I guess. And I've done this before.
Yeah, as have I, and it's actually, I probably, to one particular DJ, I think I've referred maybe 4 shows over the years. It hasn't been a lot, but it just so happens that they called and basically said, John said you were the person who could create this show that we're wanting to do. And I know he booked 2 out of the 4 at least. Maybe he booked all 4. I don't know that. Because of that, the number of times that he sent people to me over the years, he's probably sent 10 times the amount that I sent to him. And not that there was, we're trying to keep track or anything to that effect, right. Be even on this. But it's one of those things when you build those network relationships and such, and are honest with the clients. The one particular gal loved him so much that I think it was him. It was one of my local DJ friends. The tip was basically they just doubled the contract and gave him his contract amount because they knew what I was charging, which was way more than what he charged. So they had already had in their head that they were going to be spending, $1,200, and I think that time they were charging $6,000, and they just cut him a check for $12,000.
Oh, it's money when you can get friends like that. I mean, I've been a friend like that. I've had friends like that.
Yeah,
they call and they don't say how much. They don't. They're already sold on you. They already kind of know what it's going to cost. And they say, can you please do this for me? Can you please do this for me? Are you available for the date? Yes, I am. Perfect. Send me a contract.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Skills Pros or nothing? No.
Get a contract out.
No, let's get the contract out.
Yeah. That's definitely a nice feeling.
How you feeling, John?
I'm good. I should probably wrap things up, and I need to head back in and go get some things all ready to go.
You do, and rest up, and well, you can't right now. You got things to do.
Yeah, we got things to do.
You got a magazine or newspaper to publish.
Yeah, we got to finish. We got to finish getting the newspaper and the mailing list is what we're working on right now tonight, so we can make sure that is on its way to everyone next week. It should be in their boxes and such. So,
but tune in for Wavy Davy and I this time slot next week Tuesday.
Next Tuesday night, we'll be back here at 10 o'clock Eastern with Wavy Davy and Brian, and we'll have our Tuesday night and our Wednesday music show. The music mixing show will be going on next Wednesday. I don't remember what we were doing with that, but we'll be doing that again. So we'll have some of our schedule next week, and then we'll be updating you and letting you know what's going to be going on after that and how things will come together. So
right on.
It's one of those weird things you just can't. You never know. You just can't plan that far out, and gotta be flexible. So, thank you guys for watching tonight and joining us. Some of you are on Facebook. I didn't mention earlier that I wasn't watching the Facebook chat that much, but YouTube crew, thank you for being with us. We just really love that you come and spend your evenings with us. It's really kind of cool, and it's kind of a little awestruck. Is that a way to describe it? That
perhaps
humbled that you guys are going to take time out of your busy schedules to come and hang with us. So we appreciate it.
Gobsmacked. Is that gobsmacked? I never knew what that meant.
Gobsmacked. Where?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just blurting the word out.
Oh. I don't know. That's a word.
Wow, they're here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, awestruck.
And I thank you for letting me wear my Halloween costume.
That was pretty good. I'm surprised.
That was terrible. Nobody. I mean, I've done this before. I remember I went to a Halloween party. I was all excited. I was going to wear my Adam Ant costume, and no one knew who Adam Ant was.
I was going to go with the Tom Cruise thing. I was thinking that you had the hair back a little bit.
Business.
Yeah, I was thinking that the risky business. I was thinking, is it that or is it Top Gun?
Falco was the first to do that.
But
Falco was the first to do that. Because that was like 81, 82, and everybody else followed with the slicked hair and the glasses, the aviators specifically.
Aviators, oh yeah, gotta have
Tom Cruise did the Wayfarers, like the black Wayfarers, brought those back into fashion. But the aviator was like the Chuck Norris in like the 70s thing, but the slick back hair and I don't know. I was just very, very happy with that. With someone who actually got it. And I'll be sitting on my disco porch with the remote control in my hand for a bubble machine and another one for Fog Fury Jets, probably, with my aviators on and my slick back hair and my Falco costume.
And we'll be looking forward to the pictures to show how it all turns out.
It'll be a fun night.
Sounds great. Brian, thank you much for being with me. And I'll see you next week. I just won't be seeing
you won't
the rest of you guys.
You'll hear us next week.
I'll be. Oh, thanks. Everyone, you guys have a great time, and we'll catch you next week. Good night.